It's Dave
and Dan.
Hey, welcome to Hooked on Headwaters, and today we've got a special video. It's actually an update of videos we did earlier when we first started Hooked on Headwaters, and that's navigating Headwaters Lake. We've received several requests to provide some update. You know, the landscape on this, I thought before we said the landscape in this lake changes. So Captain Dan is going to take us down from the very north part of the lake, the boat ramp, which is behind us, all the way to the southern end. So with that said, Captain Dan, give us an overview of what we can expect today.
Okay, so we're going to stop at a few key points. We're going to run way south. So there'll be good visual references in the video for you guys. And again, we'll stop at a few places and take some videos so you guys can see and kind of lock it in your mind of how to run this, what to look for, so you know where to run when you're here.
Okay, so with that said, we're going to get on our way. Enjoy the ride.
Okay guys, we're coming up to the point in the S Canal where we're going to turn to the southwest. The S Canal right now, this is January 2023, the S Canal beyond this opening is blocked. So we're going to turn out, and we're going to get a heading of 250 degrees. From this point at 250 degrees, it's going to take us directly to the flagpole. So guys, you really got to watch this corner. This is a blind corner. I typically will stand up to make sure there's nobody in this, what I call the chute or this run that's directly ahead of the boat now. That way you can stay on plane, but be very careful at this location. Boats come and go. This is the main thoroughfare, so always be vigilant and look. All right, guys, we just ran 250 degrees across this open body of water. We're now arrived at the flagpole, which you've seen. So now we're going to go down the 45. I want to kind of get a shot there, Dave.
Yep.
What it looks like. Get that pole is the dumbest thing on it.
Yeah, there you go.
So guys, we're right here at the intersection. Nobody's coming right this second. We're at the flagpole. So if we look directly south, you'll see directly to the south, there's an old original canal here. This is the center canal. Now, if Dave, you'll pan around, you'll see, as you look to the right, you'll see a series of islands on your left and right. This is the beginning of the 45 right here. So now we're going to jump back up on plane and we're going to run the whole length all the way to the end of the 45 canal.
So some folks were asking, as a matter of fact, this weekend, what's at the end of this canal? This is the east-west canal. So there is a pump house at the end.
Yeah, it's the water control structure.
Water control structure at the end. Yeah, and you can get there and you can fish around there. It's actually a pretty good spot to fish.
It's easier to run 250 degrees when they get here.
Yeah.
Give you coordinates for every one thing. All right. You want me to start, turn around and start back there?
Yeah.
The end of the 45. We're at the southern end of the 45. The way to tell is you'll see the structure, which is the water control structure at the southeast corner of Farm 13. It's on the other side of the levee. If you look directly south, this is the way further south. There'll be a berm on your left, the open canal in the center, and the water control structure to your right. That's how you know you're at the end of the 45. What we're going to do now is we're going to continue on south and run on down. at the northwest corner of this square pond. So the canal we just ran in here. We're going to run from the northwest corner of the square pond directly to the southeast corner of the square pond. So when you come into the square pond, you're going to turn about 45 degrees. We're going to run over to the other side, the other corner. Okay, we made it across the square pond. When you arrive here, as you're heading in a southerly direction, stay to the southern side of the grass. So this corner, I don't know how you want to do this, Dave.
I'll come over here.
Okay, this corner right here, the reason you have to hug the southern side is it's very shallow right here. So hug the southern grass line. It's very shallow, only about 1.5 feet here. See a lot of guys hit bottom.
Yeah, and some, it's been the burial ground to some lower units, from what I hear.
Guys, this little spot here is a blind corner. You have to slow down and idle through here, otherwise you may end up getting in a boat wreck. Okay guys, you saw the route that we ran there. It's kind of tight quarters, you got to be careful. There was another boat coming this way, one that was right behind us. Usually there's not a lot of guys down there, but you got to be very careful. So this last little turn here, there's a floating island that we talk about all the time that's blocking us. There are multiple ways to get to where I want to go. There's another canal just on the other side of this blockage. It runs east and west. It's a deeper canal, probably 12 to 15 feet. So there are multiple ways to get in there, but yeah, we're just trying to pick our way through today. We're almost at the southern boundary. I don't know if you can see the far trees in the distance. That's the farthest south this place goes.
Get up there.
It's another maybe half mile. Those trees are the very southern end of Headwaters. So let's see if we can pick our way around this floating island.
And this area is also known as Egan?
This is all, yes, this area is also known as Egan.
Yeah.
Yep. We might be able to get around the side there, we'll see.
Yeah. So we came from, folks, down this way.
Okay guys, so we've made it to the final, what I would call the secondary east-west canal. Probably shouldn't call it like somebody's might get confused. This is the last canal that runs east and west.
Most southern.
Most southern, yep. So where you are facing to the north right now. That way south, west, and east. From here, from this canal that you're seeing here, there are a few places you can get through, or excuse me, out of this canal to the south. Most of those blocks are shallow. The summertime, basically you find that you can hardly even get to it. But right now in January, and since we had some hurricanes, things are different. I have not been down here in a while, so we're gonna do some fishing down here and see what we can come up with today.
All right. Dave here. We had some technical difficulties, issues with the ending of the video. So I'm going to wrap things up by showing you the route on Google Map of our trip from the north part of the lake, from the parking lot, all the way down to the south part, the Egan area. Again, I'm going to use Google to illustrate our run and kind of summarize things and close things out. By no means is this intended to be a navigational tool. Its intent is to give you a visual of what that trip may look like and help you enjoy the day on the lake. Again, our purpose of this channel is to enhance your fishing experience on Headwaters and other lakes, and hopefully this helps you do that. We highly recommend that you use the tracking feature of your GPS unit. Most GPS units, even the inexpensive ones, have some sort of route recorder or tracker. You need to learn how to use that feature and use it when you run this, when you run the lake or any lake. It's a good idea to record that track so you can get back home at the end of the day. So let's begin our trip here on a virtual trip here on Google Maps. So we leave the Headwaters parking lot and head south along the S Canal, and most of you are familiar with that. Approximately 2.4 miles, there is a cut to the west. That's right here, which is what Captain Dan and I did as we were heading down south. Now, before I continue, I want to point out that on the video you saw there was a blockage. It was approximately in this area here. So we had to cut across this. If we were heading south, we had to cut across this way. The other option, and you can watch our other video on navigating around blockage. You can find a way, find an opening, or go back and find an opening and come back down this parallel canal, or just shoot over into the pits if you were just heading south. That's just a review for blockages along the S Canal, which happen every so often, depending on how the wind blows or how hard the wind blows. So, most folks will use the cut here and then head in order to head down to the 45, which is down here. Other folks depending on the water level, we'll just continue heading south along the S Canal onto this point here, which is the intersection of the East-West Canal. This is the East-West Canal, the S Canal, and they'll hang a right and head west at that point. So you have that option, and again, depending on the water level here, these cuts here will be clearly defined as the water goes down and the hydraulic tops out. So feel safe to run across. As the water gets lower, some folks cut across and just shoot down here and then across, or across this way here. You should be able to see where you can, what's the best heading for you. So, as I said, we headed 250 at a heading of 250. We made it to this point here. This is the East-West Canal. This is the North Canal, North-South Canal, and actually divides the lake in two. This here, as a landmark, is the Headwaters flagpole. So this is where you see the American flag flying, and many folks use it as a landmark to get to and from the boat ramp. Once we got to this point, we shot across the East-West Canal. Again, as Captain Dan pointed out, be careful crossing. We have a lot of boaters that just scoot across here really fast, so just be on the lookout, look left, look right, and go across. This is the beginning of the 45. Now, this will be clearly defined by the edges of these islands. So the edges of these islands indicate the west and the east side of the canal, if you will. The problem some people run into is that the floating vegetation islands will gather in here at times and can cause a little confusion. From time to time, you just have to scoot around it. But for the most part, you should be able to see that defined edge along these permanent islands here and here. Let me back up here. So as we approach the end of the 45, as Captain Dan mentioned, you will know you're here when you see the structure. This is the floodgate or the water gate that leads into Stickmarsh. This is the southeast corner of Stickmarsh. And if you go here on a weekend and water is running, there'll be about 50 boats all jammed in here trying to fish. But that's another video for another time. So I'm back up here. End of my 45 run. Now I head straight south, past the Three Fingers here, as I call it. Lots of good fishing all along this route. As you can see all the various ditches and canals. One of the landmarks here is the Square Pond, and that's the name of this area, Square Pond. At this point, Captain Dan turned on a 45 degree and headed down to the southeast corner of the Square Pond. Here, as he mentioned, you need to hug the southern end of this corner because this northern end of this corner or this shoreline is quite shallow, and you could bump it, and many have, and it's also the burial grounds for several lower units. So just be very careful around here. Just scoot along the southmost shoreline here before you continue along the route here. Toward the end of this canal, you'll see the opening. You hang a right or head south. Another good area to fish. As you work your way south, you see some of these ditches. Some of them are covered with the floating islands, hydrilla, but you should, depending on the day, they should be clear. At the end of this route, you'll see this canal here, this ditch. This is a large-sized ditch. Can't miss it. You can scoot across this canal, or you can scoot across this channel here, or this ditch here, or this one here. Both are, depending if they're open. And once you get to the end here, you'll need to hang a right and head south once more. What happened to us on the day we were out is that this area here was blocked off. Somewhere around here there was a blockage. Again, the floating island made its way here, so we had to head west here and try and find a way to jump into this canal here. This canal here is the southernmost east-west canal. This is pretty deep, 10, 15 feet at spots. And from here we started fishing, and where we ended the video. So there you have it. That is our run. That's how to get from the north, or from the Headwaters parking lot pier, to the south end, or this is also known as the Egan area. So there you have it. If you have any comments that are helpful to someone who's not familiar with the lake, please do so. We have got a lot of visitors to this lake. They bring their boats, and we want to make it as safe as possible for everyone to enjoy this great fishery that we have. Just comment below. Any comments you have to add to this video is certainly welcomed. Any helpful things that you can share is much appreciated. So this is Dave, kind of signing off. Thank you very much for watching. It is a little longer than usual video. I think it's hopefully it'll be very helpful to one and all. So until the next time we see, take care of yourself, tight lines, and God bless.